Actually, I first met Eli was 1999. It was April 1999. I remember because
Wow.
it was the premier Zhu Rongji from China, his visit to LA, and Dick Riordan, our mayor, was hosting a lunch. So Dick called me and said that I have all these Fortune 500 company CEOs who are sponsoring, but I need a Chinese-looking CEO to be on stage. So I said, okay, I'll be there. It was not appropriate because East West at that time was a very small bank. We're, I think, probably about $2 billion in size, or maybe less. But that was okay because at least, make the premier Zhu Rongji feel good. There was a Chinese American sitting there. So I actually was at the backstage lining up, greeting with the premier. Eli was standing next to me. I got a chance to talk to him a little bit. My one great moment of talking to Eli. So that was where I first met him. So in 2000, a year later, I actually was asked by United Way to be the campaign chair. And it was interesting because I had a $65 million goal that I hit. No, I don't know, 63. At least you know better. What was the goal? $65 million goal. Got to do it in 9 months. So for a little bank CEO like me, does not have the best network, it was not that easy. So we were going through a lot of ideas, and one of the thoughts I had was I put out the LA Business Journal. I said, look at the top 50 wealthiest people in town, and then just go one by one, and then we cold call them, or whoever knows. I talked to my campaign cabinets, and all of them are great members, helping me tremendously. And I said, John Anderson, I'll take him. This person, I'll take him. I said, Peter Mullen, you take all the Catholic people. And so we did all of that kind of thing. So when it comes to the number one name, Eli Broad, so I asked everybody, said they know Eli Broad. I said, I know him too. Except the only thing is that nobody dared to ask because they said, well, with Eli, this is what I've heard from all my cabinet. For Eli, you just have to be very strategic. You have to have an angle because he's not going to take any nonsense about whatever. So he is really into art and culture. He's really into education. You got to find an angle. Do you have a compelling proposition? Our cabinet members, when they debate, I only met Eli briefly at that premiere when we're lining up, so I hardly ever know him. So I listened to the advice from all the people who know him well, and they said that we have to think about strategy. You got to think about angle. 2 weeks later, we talk about strategy angle. I said, hey, my campaign closed in June, and this is April. If we don't make the appointment, I don't care what strategy you have, it's not going to happen, right? So at some point in time, I got to make a move, so I just pick up the phone and I say, heck, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to make a cold call and see how it goes. Call his secretary, and then surprisingly, I got my appointment. So, and then again, my cabinet members very nicely advised me about what to say. But I said, there's no way I can learn enough about artwork that can strike a meaningful conversation. So I just stick to what...
You weren't collecting at that time. You weren't engaged with arts yet.
Well, I buy some prints, maybe. So, when Eli bought... Eli paid $2.5 million for that... what was that, Liechtenstein, right?
Exactly.
With the American Express?
Exactly, yes.
I took my East West credit card and I bought the Liechtenstein for $25,000, a lithograph, so it's a little bit different.
Did you really?
But anyway, what I did was, I felt it's more important for me just to be genuine. The only thing I knew at that time was what we did with United Way. Elise and I worked together in 1998 and completely revamped the United Way model. Instead of putting the money into the big brand name like Red Cross, Children's Hospital, or American Heart Association, we said that we ought to be the organization to help the little agencies who do not have the brand name to do fundraising, who do not have the ability to actually manage their financial. United Way ought to be the big brother to help them. That's what we should be doing, and that's all we're going to do. And that, to us, helping the Los Angeles community in education, in the working poor to be more self-sufficient as a middle class. These are the kind of things, or helping them for those who do not have health care, that we support them. That's all we're going to do. We're not going to do anything else. Either people are going to listen to it and buy into it, or they're going to say that, this is not our cup of tea. That's okay. But we ought to just be genuine and say, this is what we do. And I know how to tell the stories because Elise and I worked on it together. I know exactly how to say that. So I just walk in and then basically told my stories. In the meantime, Eli was so kind. I mean, I walked in at the front desk, I saw the Russian bird. I said, whoa, finally. First time, in my life, I saw the Russian bird live. Walk into his office, I thought I could tell those are Jasper Johns, but wasn't quite sure. I wasn't going to tell him that, I think it's a Jasper Johns, because what if it's something else?
Pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
I think I
But
installed that.
he told me that, yeah, they are Jasper Johns. So he walked me through, and then we came back out and saw some Cindy Sherman and so forth. It was really enlightening, and then it was really good for me as a sort of young executive at that time to have someone at his statue in Los Angeles that he was willing to actually spend an hour with me. So that was really great. Now, but as Eli, I don't know that's his style or whatever, because I have no idea.
It's pretty familiar.
Yeah. So he listened to everything that I said and was very kind and very, very, such a great gentleman, and showed me his artwork and everything. And I said, that was very good. Never quite had a poker face. There are no way for me to tell, is he going to do it? Is he not going to do it? I asked for a lot. I said, there's nobody in California have ever given $4 million to United Way. And if you give $4 million, that was the biggest gift ever in the history of United Way in California. And I would love to see that you break that history. And also helping me to break the record, So that's what I ended. And I said, no, thank you very much. And I thought it was a great meeting. I couldn't tell whether he wouldn't give me one way, the answer one way or the other. He waited and waited and waited. And it was amazing that I gave him the date. I said, I forgot exactly the date. I said, June some date. It was the deadline. And that was the day that he called back. I was in a senior management meeting with a group. He called, and my assistant came in and then said, Eli Broad called. And he said, you may want to take the call for a few minutes. I said, hey, guys, stop. I got to go take the call. I went and took the call. And then first thing he told me, you may not remember, because first thing he told me was, Dominic, I know today is your deadline, and I'm going to give you my answer. I am not going to give you the $4 million. I was kind of expected, but I will give you 5. That's true. That's true. That's true.